Hello, everyone, and welcome to the day 3 of the 2026 Senior Bowl. This is our third and final wrap-up show. Not by myself tonight. Got my man Brian Lamb here, the other contributor from Draft Countdown that was here at the Senior Bowl this year. We're going to wrap up day 3. We're going to wrap up the week in general. We're going to talk about the best at each position group, and we're going to wrap up some other general thoughts at the end of the show. Brian, have you thought out yet?
I'm getting close. Yeah, it's been a chilly one.
Yeah, it was fine today and yesterday for that matter until the sun went down, and then it was all over with. Tuesday was just cold all day. And
yeah, I got the jacket off for a while. It was a great day. But like you said, once the sun went down, it completely changed practice.
You know, last year with this practice format, I didn't mind the later in the day starts for as far as, timing wise and everything. But weather wise, it didn't work out for us this year, like I said, because it was just cold. Last year it would have been great because I think it was in the 70s most every day last year. And we'd have been fine this year, but no, it's just been cold here. It's cold everywhere. It's not near as cold here as it is, in other parts of the country where they're buried in snow. We didn't have that problem, but just windy and we're not cold-natured folk.
There were a few times where it felt like it was getting ready to snow. How's that?
Yeah, maybe if it had rained or if we had any rain, we would have got it. All right, so let's talk about what we saw day 3 today. I just posted my column about 5 minutes ago over at draftcountdown.com, but this was one of the days where we didn't have a whole lot of like one-on-one stuff. This was mostly like majority team like drills, red zone, 2-minute drills, stuff like that. A lot of install today, it seemed like, which I feel like is typical for years gone by Thursday practices, right?
Yeah, this day's really kind of, first off, this day's always kind of been like the day where you're counting the guys that have pulled out. Not injured, but have decided to shut it down and will head home after practice. And that wasn't the case this year. I'm sure we'll get to that later. But it just felt like, you kind of tone things down for Thursday, make sure everybody's healthy, get to Saturday and get them on their way. And really kind of a mix between Tuesday where you don't have any pads on, it's just half pads, and Wednesdays where you're going full steam.
Well, you mentioned it, so we might as well talk about it now. You mentioned like in years gone past, it's been just a lot of roster attrition on Thursday. Guys, I was good the first 2 days. I'm good. I'm done. We only saw one player do that this year on both teams that shut it down when they weren't injured, right? And that was Tennessee cornerback Colton Hood, who by all accounts and all the national medias and the Daniel Jeremiahs and the likes, he was the top rated prospect here. I guess he thinks he's done enough. He shut it down. Fine, whatever. 6 other players were either gone before today or today on the national team, not in order of disappearance, but Harrison Wallace III from Ole Miss, he never practiced at all. We're running assumption is failed physical because he weighed in. Romello Brinson from SMU missed Wednesday and Thursday. The same with Trey Zune III. From Texas A&M, offensive tackle, missed Wednesday and Thursday. Logan Fano, the edge rusher from Utah, was out today. Scooby Williams, the linebacker for Texas A&M, missed Wednesday and Thursday. We mentioned Colton Hood. Wyatt Williams, the safety from Ole Miss, was out today. We say Trey Zune was out today, but his helmet and pads were here. His jersey, I'm going to assume, was here, and they just changed the nameplate on it. We spent 5 to 10 minutes researching who Priestley was. That was the offensive lineman that replaced him. We come up with by his undershirt being the colors that it were, and it was Melvin Priestley, the interior offensive lineman from Illinois, played at the Hula Bowl, now playing at the Senior Bowl, called in to replace Zune is the assumption here. Like I said, he was wearing a Texas A&M helmet.
I will say that the roster on the website has updated, and it is indeed Melvin Priestley.
Got that one right. How about that?
Breaking news.
So, but yeah, we mentioned yesterday, or I mentioned yesterday, Chris Hilton from LSU making the four-peat of All-Star games, and Daryl Jackson from Florida State came over from the Shrine. There was an erroneous tweet out there earlier today.
Yeah, well, the roster still also shows Tyree West.
So he must be just coming in for the game.
Maybe he's listed in here.
He didn't practice. So Tyree West, defensive lineman or interior defensive lineman from Tennessee, allegedly he's on the Senior Bowl web roster. He did not practice today. But there is reports out that Nebraska cornerback Sierra Wright, who played in the Shrine Bowl Tuesday, is coming over for the game on Saturday. So, and I'm assuming he'll be on the national roster as they have had all the roster attrition. Only one player did not practice today, and they only practice miss for any player all week for the American team was today, and LSU wide receiver Aaron Anderson. He was here, so we had 100% attendance, just not 100% participation for the American team. But so that team's going into the game healthy if everybody shows up on Saturday. And that's going to be the big if here. And, we hope that these guys come out on Saturday, but, I guess we'll have to take the wait and see approach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the roster now, and it looks like, I don't know, was Fred Davis the second on the roster beginning?
Yes, yeah. He's practiced all week.
He's the only one whose name the new ads they're not fully capitalized, the whole word, and he was the only one that wasn't. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, Fred Davis. The cornerback from Northwestern. Yeah, he's practiced all week on the American team.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they've added anybody to the American team this week.
Yeah, and they may not have to.
Yeah.
Based off of what we've seen, they've got enough receivers to play on Saturday. So, anything else? I mean, not a whole lot of standout today for me. Anyway, I kind of did a quick column here, but we've talked about Tyron Montgomery. You wrote about him the other day. This was the week. This was the day that caught up to him. I guess it finally. I'm not saying it got too big for him, but
yeah,
this was his worst day of the week. Several drop passes today.
I mean, as a D3 prospect playing with these guys, obviously stepping up in talent, you would expect there to be some inconsistent play, some drops, struggles to separate, and obviously we saw that today.
Yeah. One guy who has not struggled at all this week is Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle from Texas Tech. Another dominant day for him. Max Llewellyn, the edge from Iowa, had some good reps. TJ Parker had a good rep today. Jacob Rodriguez, we can't talk. We're going to talk about him later. We want to talk about him now. Caleb Alarms Orr, what you mentioned to me, you're just now earlier, the third fastest guy in practice all week.
He wasn't the fastest.
Okay.
But so Zebra Technology, they track a lot of the athleticism, speed numbers, max acceleration, max deceleration, distance traveled, and explosive efforts. And with the explosive efforts, it's usually dominated by wide receivers and defensive backs.
As you would expect.
And the leader for all week has been Jacoby Lane, the USC wide receiver, with 161 explosive efforts.
Okay.
However, tied for third is Caleb Alarms Orr, the linebacker out of TCU, which is obviously an oddity because you typically don't see linebackers up here this high. The next, other than DBs, the next defensive player is Jacob Rodriguez at 22 with 91 explosive efforts, and Kyle Lewis at 24 with 89 explosive efforts.
So alarms or is that much higher than every other defensive player.
Yes.
That's not a defensive back.
That's not a defensive back.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
You mentioned it makes me want to dig into his background a little bit now, because I wonder if he's a position convert.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, like that's just one of those things that makes you
like, did he used to be a running back or something? I don't know. I'd be curious to see. You mentioned Kyle Lewis, the linebacker from Pitt. You wrote up about him this morning. He continued another dominant effort. Size, undersized, under 6 foot, but is so explosive. His instincts are so well. He just attacks the football. A great effort today. I wrote in my column just now that if you ranked overall position groups from each team and stacked them, the national team linebackers, I think, is the top position group here.
Yeah.
Because you add those three, Bryce Bocher from Oregon and Scooby Williams for one day when he was here was dominant that first day on Tuesday. Those five combined, I think that's the best overall position group as far as performances here at the week of practice.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been on top of it consistently, and just popping on film. I mean, almost every play, it seems like.
Let's kick it over to the American team, wrap them up really quick. Their practice has been slow going all week, if you will. Like, it seems like it takes them 40 minutes to get going. Then they have the 30 minutes they go,
yeah.
But it takes a while. It's a long time to go and a short time to get there, I guess. That doesn't make sense, but yeah. Right. My biggest observation there today was I wanted to like Taylor Green. I've tried my best to do it for 2 days. Today was the end of that. His showing out there today showed every bad thing that's in his scouting report was on display in practice today. He hesitates in the pocket. He lowers his eyes too quick. He wants to run instead of trying to see the ball, see the play down the field. He's got to be more decisive in his decision making, and it's ugly. You watch him, you get why NFL teams are going to want to try to make something of him, but it hasn't been there today or for most of this week. And he's just got a long release too.
Yeah, I think Taylor Green's the type of player that does much better when the play breaks down. When he get out of the pocket, he's off script. Can use his athleticism to pick up a first down, pick up more yards. Maybe the defense cheats in a little bit and opens up the field for him as a passer. But these scrimmages, I don't think play towards his style. So I think that's maybe why we've seen him struggle quite a bit.
It's one of those things where, and we might get into, I'm sure we'll get into it tomorrow, and we'll talk about what we got on tap for tomorrow a little bit later. But yeah, I think the game on Saturday may be better for him than what we've seen in practice. Quickly, I want to talk about 2 wide receivers that jumped out today on the American team. Kevin Coleman from Missouri. We haven't talked a whole lot about him this week. I haven't either. He looked good today. He's looked good in the practice film I've watched as well. But I see him out in person. I haven't. I haven't seen it at practice until today.
Yeah, the other one I want to highlight is Ohio State defensive back Davison Igbenison, who was at the top of the speed charts for all players all week with 21.12 miles per hour is his fastest speed.
The one thing I've seen from Igbenison all week is he got flagged at least 6 times.
Yeah.
In the one-on-one, in the drills.
Yeah.
He's handsy.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't play with his speed.
Right.
Or he's so fast he gets there too quick and has to grab on. I don't know.
Yeah.
The other wide receiver I wanted to talk about was South Alabama wide receiver Devin Voisin. I know he got some national attention from yesterday's practice, but I saw him today on a drag route just outrun my guy Jalen Kilgore and for a big 20-plus yard gain. But Todd McShay pointed out on his show last night that Voisin, he's a 7th-year player. He's been around.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got a lot of experience in multiple systems, but he was basically, from what McShay was saying, coaching the other wide receivers on how to run their stems, when to break off their routes, doing this, doing that. I mean, maybe he gets a shot in the league just because he's smart and knows route mechanics. Maybe he's going to get a head start on being a coach.
Yeah.
It could go either way. Good luck to him. He's had a good week. I hope he gets a shot, but likely UDFA.
Yeah, he might sneak into the 7th round, but yeah, I think undrafted might be the path for him.
One other wide receiver I want to point out who's been good all week, but I don't think he's getting a whole lot of the national attention outside of our man Nino from CFB Nation because he's a Boston College homer. But Lewis Bond,
yeah,
had a really good week.
Yeah, I mean, just been able to separate, use his athleticism, make plays, adjust his body to the ball, kind of everything that you're looking for when you're scouting a wide receiver.
Couple defensive players from the American team jumped out today. Grayson Halton, Oklahoma defensive tackle, I think he's had a good week, but he was really good today. Caleb Banks from Florida was one of the higher ranked prospects coming into the season. Only played 3 games, struggled out of the gate on Tuesday, but has been pretty much dominant the rest of the way Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, he's really kind of improved his stock a little bit, I think. Could be that guy that sneaks into the 1st round off of this roster, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But I mean, yeah, he just looks like he's really kind of been able to repair his stock a little bit and his play, and has looked great this week.
All right, let's wrap up the week in general.
Can I spotlight one player?
Go ahead.
It's LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, because we've talked about these quarterbacks, and it feels like it was also a talking point last year, where maybe we just don't have the best quarterbacks here at the Senior Bowl, and I mean I think that's still the case this year. But Nussmeier has been the most competitive player, maybe on the entire roster for both teams. When he's missed a throw, he's upset. But when he's hit a throw, I mean, he's dabbing people up. Today we saw them running like 2-minute drills, and he was just getting everybody set, really taking command of that offense. Really being that quarterback that stepped up to be a leader, and I mean, moved the team down the field too. So I just wanted to spotlight him. I think he's done. He hasn't maybe made all the passes, but he's been somebody to watch this week.
All right, let's move right into it then. We'll wrap up the week that way. We'll go to each position group. You got your roster handy?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to each position group of each team. We'll start with the national team. And then we'll just go back and forth team to team on from the position group. Let's start with the national team quarterbacks. Rank them on what you've seen, not what you think is where they're going to be drafted, what prospects, but how you think they performed this week. Rank the national team quarterbacks 1 to 3.
I would go Cole Payton 1, Diego Pavia 2, and Sawyer Robertson 3.
I'm same exact way here. I had Sawyer Robertson as the highest rated quarterback coming into this game. I haven't seen it this week, man. He's made some poor decisions. His throws haven't been good. He's been consistently outperformed by Peyton and Pavia. It hasn't been a good week. American team a little bit different, but I see. Let's see how you have those guys 1 to 3.
I would go. Yeah, probably Nussmeier 1. Luke Altmaier 2 and Taylor Green 3.
See, I'm a little bit different. I have Altmaier as I think Altmaier's been the most consistent quarterback here all week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with him 1. Luke Altmaier, the quarterback from Illinois. I'll go with Garrett Nussmeier from LSU 2nd, and as meant Taylor Green 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I'll look. All right, we won't rank all the running backs for each team. Just give me your top 2 running backs on the national team this week.
And
let me say this before while you're thinking about it. I don't think we've seen much at practice from this group on either team as a whole, outside of one. One player has been consistently good at running back this week. But
good all year too. I will go probably Jamari Taylor 1. No, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll go Katron Allen 1, Jamari Taylor 2, and Keyshawn Owens 3.
I will go Katron Allen 1 and Adam Randall 2 from the national team. And the American team, I'll go with Mike Washington, who I think has been the best running back here all week. And Kalen Black from Indiana, too.
I didn't realize we were doing virtual.
Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, I think Kalen Black is probably the best running back here, in my opinion. I mean, has just been a solid guy to break off runs, get yards upfield. Obviously, they're not tackling, but has been able to hit gaps and get upfield quickly.
Wide receiver's been a bit of a chore on the national team this week. That's where they've seen some injuries too. I mentioned Harrison Wallace, Romello Brinson. We thought Jordan Hudson from SMU was hurt, but we later found him. So who's been your top 2 wide receivers on the national team?
I'll go Tyron Montgomery 1, and I'll go Josh Cameron from Baylor 2.
See, I'm going to flip those. I think Cameron, just that physical build, man.
Yeah.
That's going to get that dude paid. He looks like a running back.
Yeah, he's 6'1". I think he plays about 6'3".
Yeah. Yeah, but he's 223. I mean, he's rocked up too, man. That's a muscular 223 on that cat.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, I got Cameron 1, Montgomery 2 on that team. American team, man, this is tough, but hard to not go with Malachi Fields as the top wide receiver for the American team. Ted Hurst, Georgia State. You could make the argument for Rulis Bond as well, Barry and Browns made some plays. Kevin Coleman, that's a good one. And that's not even talking about Jacoby Lane. That's a good group of wide receivers on that American team.
Yeah, I didn't realize Jacoby Lane was 6'4" and an eighth.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big boy, especially to be running that fast. Yeah, this group has just, man, I love these wide receivers. They've just been able to really make plays in practice. I mean, obviously, you talked about the different styles of practice between the two squads. But yeah, they've just been fun to watch. I guess that's the biggest thing is they've just been fun.
Let's go to the tight end position on the national team. We'll just go with the best on the tight end position. And I think it's easily Tanner Koziol from Houston for that group.
Is that for the national team or
national team? National team.
Yeah, it's Koziol. Yeah.
American team best tight end, Sam Roush, Stanford.
I think so. I mean, he's 6'5", 5'8", 5'8" inches, tallest tight end here, and doesn't look like it, doesn't play like it. I wrote about him this morning. Just a really easy breaking in and out of his routes, vertical threat, can climb the ladder to get the ball, has that build that you really look for in a tight end. I don't think he's been the best blocking tight end this week, but he's been able to really kind of put his skills there and look impressive.
I would dare say Roush and Koziol are the only two that have any shot at being a number one tight end in the league. I think we got a lot of number two blocker types or number two solid types. Like I think Josh Cuevas, I think he's a 8 to 10 year player in the league that's never going to be a star. But like on this other team with Will Kaczmarek, Dan Villari, John Michael Gillingborg, I mean, those are all solid hands.
I liked Gillingborg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me your three best offensive linemen on the national team. This is outside, inside. Both.
Yeah. I think is it Jennings or Jennings?
I've just been going with Jennings.
Jennings Dunker from Iowa. I think he's one. Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. He's an inside guy. And maybe Carver Willett. Delby Lemieux from Dartmouth. Man, I just like those guys. And he's, another one of those that's stepping up in talent and hasn't given up a ton.
I'm going to go with the top. I'm going to go with Jennings Dunker as well, just because I think he's one of the top probably 5 overall players here.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is a guy that I had no clue about. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch A&M tape now. Demetrius Crownover.
Yeah.
I don't think he lost a rep, dude, all week. He's been good. Third for me, I'm going to go Sam Hecht, the center from Kansas State. Thought he's been really good this week. But a solid another guy that deserves to be talked about is Alan Herron from Maryland. I think he's had a good week as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of these offensive linemen have. Like Cage Casey from Boise State, offensive tackle, has played guard here. And Thor Nystrom reported that he's going to try out at center at the Boise State Pro Day too, just to kind of show off that versatility.
Yeah, you would think he'll probably maybe do some of that at the combine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for these offensive tackles, especially considering the quality of edge rushers and these interior defensive linemen they've gone against in practice, for them to be able to hold their own. in some of these reps is a testament to them, and it's going to look good on their resume going forward. Top 3 offensive linemen from the American team. I don't think this group as a whole is as good as the national team. Do you?
No, I don't think so. But I think there is maybe a pretty consensus number 1, and that's Arizona State's
Yes.
Ahina Kagor.
Sure.
I think he's been the best
Yes.
offensive lineman on the American squad.
100% agree.
Yeah. Miami's James Brockermeyer, I think, is up there as well. And another one that I've watched was Florida's Austin Barber, who I think had a really solid day-to-day. Maybe gave up conceded a little bit of space against edge rushers, but for the most part held his own.
I agree with you. Like I said, number 1 for me is a Hanicher. Number 2, I think I'm going to go with Jake Slaughter, the center from Florida. Thought he's held up well, and also like James Brockermeyer. But I also want to bring up Ethan Anianwa from Ohio State. He's done really good this week for a guy who did not start a game at Ohio State this year.
Yeah.
Transferred from Rice, did not win a starting job at Ohio. Played in every game, but didn't start any. And for him to come out there this week and hold his own, I thought was really a testament to his talent level. Just didn't work out at Ohio State, right? I mean, you dribble and you shoot.
Yeah.
We got to go top 3 edge rushers on each team because they're so deep on both sides. So national team, top 3 edge guys.
Daryl Jackson Jr. is probably 1, right? I think he's been probably one of the best. Romello Height is another. And I'll go with Kean Sloan from North Carolina State. I think he's also played quite well.
I like, from what I saw, Vincent Anthony from Duke. Thought he's had a good week. TJ Parker I think he's been inconsistent, but the talent's there. And partiality because I still love him and I think he's a really good prospect. I think he's had a good week. Not a great week, but a good week. Denied Dennis Sutton, Penn State. I'm a big fan. Let's go over the edge on the American squad. And this group, I don't think is as good, but I think their top 3 are better than the national top 3. I'm going to go top performance for me this week on the edge. Zion Young from Missouri. Just played like a wild man. Derek Moore from Michigan has been really good all week. And Gabe Akis from Illinois, I think, has been very consistent winning reps.
We have the same ones. Yeah. Now, I mean, TJ Parker, the edge from Clemson, he made some plays today too.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been as consistent as those other guys.
All right, let's go to the interior on the defensive line, and we can go with the top 2, but we really just need to say 1, and that's Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Nobody else is going to get in there. Devin Eastern from Minnesota has consistently put up good reps all week, but he's not in the same stratosphere as Lee Hunter this week.
No, I mean, it's been Lee Hunter, and then it's been everybody else.
How about over on the American team? We mentioned him earlier. Caleb Banks, I think, is probably the top guy on the national team. I mentioned Grayson Halton earlier. Has had a good week for Oklahoma, and would be remiss if not to talk about Nick Barrett from South Carolina, who in the practice film I've watched both days has done very well. And in the team drills, he's a flash guy, man, and he did it at South Carolina. He's very flashy. He'll disappear for half the game, and then back-to-back plays, he's killing somebody in the backfield.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's all he needs to be is he's a day 3 rotational defensive lineman that can come in and get teams behind the chains. Rashawn Benny from Michigan, I think, also has had some good reps this week.
Yeah, so is Cameron Ball from Arkansas. There's a lot of Arkansas guys here this year, and they've all really kind of balled out and have done well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about another one here when we get back to the linebackers, but we don't have to talk about the linebackers of the national team. We've already talked about them already in the show. We can rank them 1 to 5 here. So all right.
Can we do 1 to 3?
We can do 1 to 3. Is Lewis better than Rodriguez?
Well, I think we're going to have the same 3. It'll be Kyle Lewis, Caleb Alarms-Orr, and Jacob Rodriguez, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's.
I think Rodriguez is above Lewis.
Yeah.
But Alarms-Orr is 3rd. And then Bocher is 4th, but that's not a distant 4th.
Man, those 3 guys I think are just so close. And they're all a little bit different. They all play different. Jacob Rodriguez has been just dominant all week. Kyle Lewis really popped today, but he's been paired with Jacob Rodriguez a lot in practice and has benefited from that, I thought. And today, I think he really kind of outshined Rodriguez. And
this just popped in my head. And they only have 4 linebackers now on the roster. They didn't replace anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the edge rushers, and do we see Cian? How did he pronounce his name?
Cian Sloan.
Cian Sloan. He's listed, or he weighed in at 6'0", 239. Romello Heights, 6'0", 234. Have they taken linebacker reps at practice? I haven't seen them in the one-on-ones, but I didn't notice it in the team drills either. Did you?
No, I'll be honest with you, I didn't pay attention.
I wonder if they, like in the game, if they drop some because of the numbers. I'd be curious to see it. I just thought that just popped in my head. All right, American team linebackers. We'll go top 3 here as well. And I think the best linebacker on the American team this week has been Arkansas linebacker Xavier Sorey Jr. I think he's been consistently making plays all week, been one of the best players. I think Jack Kelly from BYU, who was a productive, highly productive linebacker for BYU this year. And I think Owen Heineke from Oklahoma has put some good tape out there this week.
Yeah, another one is Arizona State's Keyshawn Elliott. Maybe doesn't get the hype as much as everybody else, but I think he's been there too to make plays.
All right, let's go quarterbacks national team. They have a few. He's not going to make my top 3 list, but maybe bottom 3 for a guy that I thought come in very hyped up this week. Chris Johnson from San Diego State. It's kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
This week, one of the small school guys here was also a letdown. Stephen F. Austin's Charles Demings. Didn't see a whole lot of positive tape from him.
I thought there's been some.
Yeah.
He's been able to make plays. Just hasn't been able to make as much as everybody else.
Colton Hood is the top here, right? And he's gone.
Yeah.
So, but he was the top, and that's why he's gone. Chandler Rivers from Duke, I thought, has made some good plays this week.
He has.
Haven't seen much out of Jalen McMurray. Outside of one interception today, I haven't seen much from Thaddeus Dixon either. But so I'm just going to go 2. Colton Hood and Chandler Rivers.
Yeah.
All right, American team corners. This feels like it's Malik Muhammad from Texas was at the top here. We mentioned Igbenison, but like I said, I think he's a bit too handsy. Jalen Kilgore, when he's in the slot, I think outside of the one rep has been good. I just didn't see enough. So Fred Davis has been okay from Northwestern for what it's worth, but I think outside of Malik Muhammad, maybe Kilgore, this hasn't been a very good group either.
What about Price Hawk?
I didn't see much from him. I know he's played safety a good bit this week too.
Yeah.
He's been playing lining up at free safety. So is Kilgore in the team drills. He's lined up at free safety. He's mostly been at nickel, but has got a ton of free safety reps.
Yeah, the Senior Bowl has Kilgore listed at safety.
I don't think that's where he's at in the NFL, but
No.
I get it.
Right.
All right, so speaking of safeties, let's quickly hit two from the national team. This is easy. This is cut and dry. Bud Clark, number one, far and away the best safety at this game, if we're going to be honest, this week anyway. And VJ Payne from Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And for the American team, Michael Taff. He laid somebody out today. I was on a radio spot and I had my back turned, but the guy that was on the radio calling, he's like, he just laid somebody out in the team drill. Not something you're supposed to do at practice.
Right.
But he's had a good week, and so is Kamari Ramsey from Southern Cal. But those are the two I expected to have a good week. Anybody else?
No, I think you touched on them. Yeah.
And kickers and punters and long snappers don't matter, so we won't talk about them.
They were here all week.
They were here. First one's out every day.
Can I just say this about them?
Go ahead.
It's got to be tough for them because they do a lot before practice begins of kicking punts and field goals. And then they don't really do much until the end of practice when they get to do it again. So it's a lot of standing around for them for several hours.
Yeah. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, even when they're doing punt return drills and kickoffs, they're not actually kicking.
Right.
They use the jugs machine.
Right.
So all they're doing is taking the ball and dropping it, and it's sad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Quickly, for each team, who was the practice MVP? It's going to be offense, defense player, just best overall player in practice all week for each team.
National team, I will go Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah, me too.
American team. Am I missing one that's just standing out?
That's a good question. I don't know. Malachi Fields, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Fields made that downfield catch from Taylon Green. Had to really lay out for it and then caught it. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, it's tough. But, funny story about Jacob Rodriguez. You remember the black helicopter we saw flying over during the second practice?
Is that his wife?
That's what somebody told me.
That's interesting. I'd like to know if that's true or not.
I have no way to confirm it. Maybe I'm sure. Maybe it'll get on Twitter. It'll probably be out on Twitter at some point. Somebody will write a story about it. But that's when I was doing the radio spot. That's what they told me was that was Jacob Rodriguez's wife who flies Black Hawk helicopters. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's wild. So, all right, let's wrap it up. Let's talk about. There was a new regime this year. Jim Nagy and crew out. Drew Fabianich in. Almost everybody, with the exception of Molly Middleton, I believe, it certainly seems that way, from the old guard, was out. So things were different this year.
They have been.
So they did not, the Senior Bowl, and still have not released the hand and arm measurements for each player that weighed in.
Yeah.
We back channeled them.
Yeah.
And got them at draftcountdown.com. So if you need to know the arm and hand length measurements for any player here, head on over there and find them. We have no idea if they did wingspans.
Yeah, they're not listed on the sheet for anybody.
They're not listed on the sheets for anybody. McShay and them have not mentioned a wingspan either. So I do not think they did.
They may not have.
Which is weird.
Yeah, when they're measuring, it's not the Senior Bowl measuring them.
Yes,
they use a scouting service to measure. So that is interesting as to why they weren't measured for that.
Yeah. So, or if they did, it's weird that nobody has them.
Yes.
So, like I said, we back channeled that. So that was the first thing. That was weird. It took us until Wednesday morning to get them.
Yeah.
Of which we released it. They said consistently that there will be a live roster update daily. Brian, was there a live roster update daily?
There was not.
Brian, you're looking at it right now. Is Caleb Banks' height and weight on the website yet?
No.
So when they were weighing in the players on Monday, they were updating in alphabetical order, and there was 11 players that didn't show up on that sheet. We speculated that is because those players arrived late, and I still think that to be true. We know those players have heights and weights. We have them.
Yeah.
We have their hand and arm measurements.
Yeah.
But they never went back and added those to the site. You told me now that they have updated the added players. Have they taken off the players that aren't here anymore?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that tells me that there is no such thing as a live roster. You know what else isn't on this roster, Brian Lamb?
What would that be?
Roster numbers.
They are on the individual rosters. Are they on the main roster on the website?
So if you click on the team, the individual team, they have the numerical rosters on there now.
They are now on there as well.
Okay. Well,
they
haven't been for the last 3 days.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. So
it took there for the players that have that didn't have any information, like Caleb Banks. No number listed.
So he wore 88, in case people were wondering. I got them from Craig Stevenson from AO.com. He gave me the numerical roster numbers about 2 hours before the first practice. So I was able to add them to the sheet that I had made up for myself and Brian for the practices. So thanks, Craig, for that. So it's not good. And we talked to the social media director at the media day, which we're going to get to media day in a second. We talked to Molly, who is the media managing director for the Senior Bowl. We talked to her at the media day as well about it. And, we're not going to go further into it, but we made our case that something needed to change with that, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be nice to have that information, or at least consistent information year to year. Doing it the same way that they've done it, giving us that information, in a timely manner, and keeping it updated. Last year we had a QR code that would take you straight to it. And that was nice. just to be able to, pull that up anytime during the week. If there was a roster change, that was the first place that it was added. If somebody dropped, they were dropped from that roster. And that was very nice to do. And this year, that just wasn't the case. Um, I mean, we had some guys that would be announced that were on the roster and haven't been there for several days. Chris Hilton is one of them, the wide receiver from LSU. Was added Tuesday and just wasn't on the roster until I'm pretty sure until today when I checked, and he's been on there. So it's there's some growing pains there. Would like to see that kind of be added on a more consistent basis. And same thing with the measurements and some of that stuff too. We're all reporting the same information. There's no reason why other guys should have to reach out to NFL team personnel to get those numbers when they should be readily available. And the way that they do it is a little different. There's a football operations department that's running that stuff that has that information. So that's why some of that might be a little different. But it hasn't been too terrible. We did get height and weight Monday afternoon, and they just started updating the roster with those. And that's been nice to at least get. They haven't done the player cards on Twitter this year. They just released height and weights on the website without player cards. So we did get those.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't. I got no idea what is going on.
Yeah, you went dark.
Yeah, that's weird. And then now I'm not even on the screen. And I've got an echo in my headphones. This is ridiculous. So anyway, we're gonna have to quicken this up, I guess.
Yeah.
Had a question in the chat. Are the heights and weights on the Senior Bowl website their official measurements?
I see you now, by the way.
Okay. So are they their official measurements? Kind of. But you can also go to draftcountdown.com. We've got them there. We've got heights, weights, hand, and arm over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better to go to Draft Countdown for those since we have everything listed.
Maybe I won't hear an echo now. Or, nope, I do.
I don't hear one for what it's worth.
This is so dumb. I don't know if my camera died or not. Maybe it did.
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about the media day setup. It was different. Different spot of the show at the convention center in Mobile. If you were there to interview players and you didn't bring a professional lighting rig, you were screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, you needed a ring light or box light, something like that to really get good lighting in there.
And it also, like, half of one team wasn't even made available.
Yeah.
But I will say the most positive change at Media Day this year was they wore their college jerseys. So you could actually tell who the player was for once if you don't have a eidetic memory about faces.
Yeah, they had a staff member there asking if they had their college jerseys to put on at the door. So when they came in, the jersey went on.
Yeah. So interesting week of practice. Not the best roster as far as first round draft picks go. I'm now convinced we'll get at least 2 first round draft picks from this roster. But there are a lot of good players that are going to be impactful rookies at the NFL level playing at this game.
Yeah, there's been some quality depth here. That I'm really excited about. Probably more excited than I was coming into the week. That there are some guys here that can play ball.
Yeah. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. Brian, been great hanging with you all week. We'll see you Saturday for the game and probably tomorrow night as well. The plan right now, tomorrow night, I don't know the exact time yet. So hit that notification bell wherever you see it on the YouTube there. Subscribe to the channel. And we're going to have our annual Friday night Grapico's Senior Bowl party. Should be myself, Brian, Scott Wright, Shane P. Hallam, and Pigskin Paul. All together, we'll make predictions for the upcoming NFL draft based upon the Senior Bowl and stuff that'll happen in the Senior Bowl game. So it'll be fun. We're going to drink a Grapico or two and have some fun talking ball. But for everybody, thanks for watching.